Hi, welcome to my podcast, The Happy Hacker with Ambition. Today is Wednesday and it's budget day, and this is the first budget I haven't worked on for many a year. So I'm just like, oh, it's budget day and I've got nothing to do for work because I'm on holiday. That's me just undoing the plastic. It is on the tarpaulin on the hay. I'm just going to take some. I'm really late because we had my GJL delivery this morning. Woo! And that's Eke running away with her very expensive rug, half done, and she came out of it really nicely, so that's fine. So they've taken off. Don't know what spooked them. With Eke though, you know, you kind of know with the name Eke that could be anything. Indy looks a bit annoyed. You right, baby? You're a good girl. Good girl, you feeling all right? Yeah? Let me just go get the other one. It is very windy. I'm hoping that it's not too bad on the microphone. I'll have a listen back. Anyway, as I said, it's Wednesday. I'm just going to see if I can do Tia's rug. She may not want me to take it off. It's only a rain sheet. She's very warm under. It's so mild. The weather is just, it's winter one day and then it's like a mild autumn the next. It's ridiculous. There you go. Well, you took off at a rate, but you were a clever pony, weren't you, Eke? Yes, you were. Anyway, just feeling, can feel all her ribs, so that's all right. Yeah, as I was saying, it's Wednesday. So for Laura, it's her last night. She did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So this will be her last night. So she is at her most tired today. So I will get round and start poo picking. But just because the girls were here, I just thought I'd take their rug off now. Blueberry, do not go out there. Good girl. We're having a bit of an issue with training a Blueberry. She's doing exactly what she wants at the moment. Is being very naughty. So, not great. Right, why am I going in here? I'm not going in here. I need to get the scissors out so I can undo my hay, which I've got. So I've got the hay in the other side of the stable stacked up because I'm sure I put them in here. Yep, I did. To keep the weather off, and at the moment, since girls, you know, they can still get in there. There's loads of room for them both to get in. So it just made my life easier doing it, but they are little tinkers. Anyway, Indy is now waiting for her hay, which I'm going to do. So what have I been up to? Whoops, there goes the hay, which I have to pay for. I haven't paid for it yet, which is a bit naughty of me, but I've got the money. I just keep forgetting to give it to Laura. Keep driving past her going, oh, the money. So what have I been up to? On Monday, I went to Moulton College to do a Society of Master Saddlers introduction to saddle fitting, which, as you know, I've been going on about. You're going to have to move back, lovely. There you go. I've been going on about for a long time because I'm absolutely passionate about it. Really, so important to get your saddle to fit properly. The influence of the saddle on the rider, you know, all sorts of things makes a big difference. So I set off with an hour extra to spare in my sat nav, and it took me all over the place, through the fens, and not the route that I would have chosen myself, but I was like, oh my lord, I'm going to be late. And even though I had picked in, oh, that's fallen down again, picked in an extra hour, I'm just going to try and call Blueberry because she is nowhere to be seen. Oh, I bet. Whoa! Now Spike has just absolutely legged it. I don't know what's happened there. I'm just going to go and see. Shot off. I mean, I think it's the plastic flapping, although he seems quite used to that. It's a tarpaulin. I don't know what. You right, mate? You okay? I know, I'm coming. Just come and see you're okay. Yeah, so off I went, and I arrived probably 15 minutes late. Everybody was there. They started. There was one other person behind me to arrive, so I was like the penultimate late person, which isn't very professional. And although I'm always late to the courses, I don't like being late to work. I wonder if he just touched the electric fence. I'm thinking that's probably what he might just have done. Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like he's touched the... You touched the fence? Did you? All right, Chuck. Okay, that'll keep that there. Right. I'll be back to do these in a minute. I've just got to finish doing Indy. Anyway, so I arrived and they had already started, and it was kind of like the most important part, or one of the most important parts of the session, because it's all about templating. Templating is when you put a flexi rule over the horses, over the horse. So back in the day when I did this course 10 years ago, you took 3 measurements. You took along the spine, over the withers, and on T18, which is the furthest part of where the saddle can go on that, technically, on the spine. So that's what you used to do. Now they take 4 measurements. So they do the along the spine, that's from the withers along the spine to T18, over the withers, T12 and T18. And I wanted to know why they changed. But I didn't get that opportunity to ask. How are you back, are you? Not quite when I whistle, but anyway, it's Blueberry. But obviously I wasn't about to ask. They'd done that, they'd moved on, and I wasn't about to ask. And then that session finished, and there was a breakout session. Gosh, everything seems to be on the floor. Just going to the stable to get Indy's lead rope. And then we were split up into 6 groups of 6. So you can tell it was quite a big class. So that ran on Monday. It's running again on Tuesday, and they have another class. They have something else running on Wednesday at the college as well. So quite a busy few days for the people at Moulton College. Can we stop being miserable? Oh, actually, I've got a clean head collar for her. Indy lives out with a breakable head collar on permanently. Just changes her personality. If she has a head collar on, she's a much nicer pony. Don't know why that is. If she doesn't have one on, she's not particularly friendly. And I had Guido come down to talk to me about it, and he just went, we said to him, oh yeah, she's nice, so she's got a head collar, and he kind of looked at us as if we were bonkers. And then I said about it, you swing that bottom to me. Right. Obviously not that friendly. She's a bit, I think it's the wind. It's stirring them all up. And she's not particularly friendly at the moment. But anyway, yeah, so Guido didn't believe it. So we took the head collar off, and he tried with her. And then he came back. Good girl. Goodly girl. You're hot, aren't you? I'm hot, yeah. Hot stuff, eh? Right, let's take this off. So it has to be a breakable head collar. So I've got a Lemieux one, which is very soft and has the breakable part is leather. So a little leather notch on it, and that's what we do. And it's just nicer for her. It's softer than the other one that I've got, which she's been in because I wanted to wash this one because it was pretty, she'd been rolling in it. It was really, really dirty. Oh yeah, so as we'll go back to the Society Master Saddlers and my course. So we were split up into groups. There were 3 women from Moulton College there to gain some knowledge, to add it, and they're looking at doing some training, and they best to get the trainers trained first, hey? So there you go, darling. That's better, isn't it? Let's take her rug off and just bonk it over the side. So they were lovely, really knowledgeable, obviously from the remedial side of the college. Very well known, all badged up, you know, branded up, so everybody knew who they were. And they were really nice. And then also with us was somebody from 2 other ladies that were both women. I don't know. I'm of an age where I'm not offended to be called a lady. I don't know, but so you can tell I'm quite old. Anyway, 2 women, both saddle fitters. Both work for WOW. One of them is WOW saddle fitter in East Anglia, and very kindly at the end of the day offered to take me out with her when she's saddle fitting, which is great because that's the only way I'm going to get my eye in. Then the other lady also, but from Hampshire way. Gosh, this has come undone again. I might have to rethink how I'm doing this. But from the Hampshire way, and she came through it through remedial and physio, and so that's what her qualifications were. But also had done, I mean, talking to them both, many years saddle fitting, but not got Society of Master Saddlers qualifications. Hello, you're being very friendly. Blueberry had to have her muzzle on the other day because I'm using it more as a training tool with Blueberry. Blueberry's a dog. If she's naughty, she has the muzzle on, and only for a short time until she knows, and then she has the muzzle off. Because she did go for, unfortunately, Blueberry was beaten up by a black Labrador that comes along this way, and the woman knows that it's attacking, and it went for Blueberry, and Blueberry was not a happy bunny, and she had to go to the vets, and it cost a lot of money. And anyway, so Blueberry now gets in first. So we had the farrier Jesse here the other day, and he has a little pup called Tiggs, who's so sweet. And I said, should be fine because she'll be submissive because she's a puppy. But there was something in the back of my mind, the way Blueberry had been behaving. So I put her muzzle on, and she was naughty. So she was in disgrace, to be perfectly honest, and she got put back in the car. And it's lovely to have my dog down here when I'm doing the horses. It's great company. It's great for her exercise. But she's got to behave because it's not my land, it's Laura's land. And, you know, I don't want them getting into trouble from people that walk along the footpath that runs along the side of the land, although we don't see so many during the winter because it's quite muddy along here. I don't want them getting into trouble. Anyway, so that was our group and me. So off we went. So there were 6 rotations to 6 different stations with several different horses. So the first one was outside with a Society Master Saddler, very experienced saddler, talking to you about, I guess it was the first assessment of the horse, what you would do as a saddle fitter when you've spoken to your client who's looking to buy a saddle or have their saddle checked. Look at the horse move, walk up, walk, trot, in hand, and just check for any lameness issues, check for a sore back, check, just noting down how the horse is moving as well, whether it has any scars or injuries. Use this time to talk to people, to the owners, to get more information out of them. Has it been off work? Is it, recently? Is it under the vet for anything? All that kind of thing. And the importance of that section was get as much information as you possibly can, all the time, out from your owners and riders. And it's sometimes at that point that you get more information than you were originally told. So whether a horse has been lame for a while or stuff like that. So that was very interesting. We asked lots of questions. They said to us, write as much down as possible. That might mean once you've left the client, pulling over, sitting down in a lay-by, finishing writing your notes. But notes are the most important thing that you can do. Then we moved on to templating. Yeah, templating was our next one. So that would have been my opportunity to have asked the question, but I didn't really get the opportunity to ask the question about that. But I did get to template, and I have got the template there. So what I will do is find out. Now, there's some online courses that I can check up with and look that in. Then we moved on to a saddle fit. Now, what happens is on these days is that the master saddlers that come generally supply a stock, or the companies, the manufacturers, supply them with some saddles. They don't know what they're going to get in advance. And they also don't know what horses they're going to get to look at, which is really different, because obviously if you're going out with to have a saddle, you'd have loads of stock saddles in the car with you, having spoken to the owner previously to know what they're wanting, whether they want a GP, a dressage or a jump saddle. That's the kind of thing that you're looking for. So it was a little bit not true to life is the word I'm looking for how we were going, because obviously we were there and they said the next one was to fit a dressage saddle to a horse. And he was a therapy horse previously, and the college had bought him for £1. He was so sweet. And the little the student that was holding him for us, bless her, she was so sweet. She moved around to do another section a bit later with us as well, and she was so good. And it must be really, as a student coming in, and then you're being looked at you're riding, you're walking the horse away, trotting, cantering, all that kind of thing. It must be quite nerve-wracking. I would think none of the students seemed to bat an eyelid, were really lovely. But also for me, because I always forget to ask the rider how they feel, it was interesting because I did ask them, but you got you had to push to get the comment that you were, that you wanted to say how does it feel? How do you feel you're riding in it? How does it look? And on the penultimate section, a lady from Wales, that was her area, and her name was Helen. She was amazing. It was a really interesting section. And she put her in a saddle. We looked at the saddle and how it was, and she had to say, obviously it's not perfect because I haven't got the right one here, but the saddle that we all looked at, and the saddle that the rider liked the least, was a saddle that made her and her horse look amazing. And we wished that we'd filmed it for her, because if we had filmed it, she would have seen the difference in those saddles and the way of her riding, changing her riding, her balance, and how that went. And it was really, really interesting. really interesting. And we spent a long time there. In fact, we got Sharon had to move on because we were taking so long on that one. And then the last section that we had in R6 was to go to the assessing width of saddle and width of tree. So talked about trees, put the naked, the broken down tree, the absolute tree in its I'm trying to think of the right word. The naked tree, I would call it, before it's dressed with leathers and and all the other bits. So we put that, the skeleton, I can't say it, but anyway, we put that on the horses, and it makes it really. You can easily see then whether that's the right width for the horse or the right shape for the horse and anything. Makes it really easy. However, when it's dressed with all its leather on, that's when you're trying to fit a saddle to a horse. And we were told that 70% of students that fail their Society of Master Saddlers exam fail it on this section, which is the section on the correct width for the horse. So he then put we had a lovely cob who just stood there and was so good, and we put some, you think of a cob, most people could say it's going to be wide, extra wide, with short with a shorter length on the tree spur, and it was proved to us totally by this cob that actually no, he was not wide, he was a medium with a long gullet point. So I'm saying gullet point, it's not the right technical term, but I'm in the middle of the field and it's blown a hoolie and I can't remember, but I know what I mean. So if you know Kenton Masters or Thorogood, you will know that there's an R bar and an S bar, and I would think that the majority of people would put their cobs in an R bar because it's shorter, and really I suppose a lot of people would need the S bar. I have an Arab who notoriously difficult to fit to. Arab saddle slips, saddle moves, because they are they have a very forward girth area, they have a very wide rib cage, and a lot of them, I mean, I think I have more of a classic style, Eke is more classic style, she's 21, than they are now, a short back. And so she's in an R bar on her, an S bar, or she was with her saddle. Now that was a dressage saddle that I bought, had fitted and bought from a master saddler, but I was never entirely happy. And the reason I was never entirely happy was it had, they become fashions, and it had really big surface blocks, and I've got little legs. Long surface blocks and little legs, not really the ideal match. So I would have been better off not having thick surface blocks but movable blocks, and that would have made a big difference because it made my legs go back quite a bit. Also, I thought they were called thigh blocks, and lots of people call them knee blocks still, so I could be wrong on that. So I need to check up the definition on that. Gosh, he's blown a hoolie. Spike hasn't gone back up to the top. I reckon he got a electric shock, but we'll go and have a check. Anyway, so we did that. That was really, 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 really interesting. The other thing I found as well was that's the first time in, I suppose it must be 18 months, that I've had to be up really early, pitch black when I did the horses. They were like, hello, what's going on here? I don't think that's on, no it's not. I was quite late home, And I just sat there. I did the last 16 miles, which is from Downham Market back to home. And I sat there and I thought, what an idiot I was, getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do the horses and getting home at 10 o'clock at night and driving, 32 miles there and back to get onto a train to go all the way into London. I must have been bonkers. But anyway, that was it. It was an interesting course. My decision now is, what do I do? Because obviously majority of people that are saddle fitters belong to families that have been involved in saddlery, harness makers way back when. There was lots of people there that the younger saddle fitters that were training us came to it from the family. There was one lady who was employed by a much bigger outlet, but most of them family. And you have to, because you have to carry stock. Then there is the pressure of selling stock. Some companies insist you sell 1 or 2 saddles a month. So if you've got several stock, you say you stock 10 different brands of saddle, and each one of those is insisting on you selling 1 a month. That's a lot of saddles to sell. So I think there's a lot of pressure on people doing that as well. So I don't know. I certainly can't afford to start from scratch, and I also don't think I have the inclination to do it. I think if I was probably 20 years younger, I might have gone for it. But hello, you handsome. I'm not. And I don't know. So the next thing is a Sitting Guilds course, because I've done the introduction to saddle fitting. I'm now eligible to go on a Sitting Guilds course, which is obviously lots of studying over the time, but finishes with a 5-day course at college and an exam and assessment, which you have to pass before you can become that. And then obviously I'm now a member of the Society of Master Saddlers. I can be now that I've done the introductory course, so that's fine. So it's quite interesting. There's also a Sitting Guilds bridle fitting course that you can go on, but I don't fit the criteria for that, I don't think, at the moment. I'm going to talk to them about that. Purely for learning, it would probably turn out to be far too expensive to do, just to learn and gain more information myself, but I don't know yet what I will do. So that is, and I've always wanted to be a saddle fitter. I have, ever since those years back, watching Liz from Mill Saddlery up at World Horse Welfare doing all the saddle fitting to the horses there. I have found it interesting and just fascinating. Liz always said I had a good eye, which, yeah, but you have to have the knowledge. So it's quite interesting. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I really, really enjoyed my day. Society Master Saddlers do lots of stuff on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. They'll give you little hints. Obviously, your saddle only fits on the day that they come to see you. If it's a new saddle, they tell you about checking. What is that? Don't like that. They'll tell you about checking it, having it flocked. Flocking makes all the difference. If it's straight, if its panels are straight, it's all that kind of thing. You can gain a lot of information from going onto their social media sites that will help you keep your horse and your saddle in better it will just help you maintain it and your saddle, and then you will know more when something is going wrong before you cause damage to your horse. So interesting, very interesting. Don't know what I'll do from that now, as I said, but that's it. So that was my day on Monday. Yesterday, I have a feeling that a lot of Indy's sore back, it seems to relate, excuse me sniffing, that's terrible, when she's in season, when she's in season, she has a tender back round the part, around her back area. So we had a little look. I popped her on a long lunge with Laura yesterday when Laura came down to have a look at, see how she's moving and to check her back again. Whoa, I don't want you. Yeah, that is definitely. So it's very windy and I'm up near Spike at the moment, and Spike took off at a rate of knots recently. He's only come up here because I'm here. So he's been very brave, but it's definitely the flappy top that he's not liking. Even though it has been, yeah, going to go again. So what I'm going to do is see if I can tie it down for him. I don't obviously want this to rip, but I think you need to put it. Okay, that's a point. Let's see if we can tie it as well. Oh, I bet I could get that through there. Oh yeah. Just see where I can tie it to. So what I'm doing at the moment is Laura has a lovely little shed in the field where she stores her hay, and it's really lovely, and I'm trying to see if I can actually, I wonder if I should do it higher up. Yeah, I think I probably should. So what I'm trying to do now is, yeah, you can hear how windy it is tie this down and take it and tie it to, in fact it's not quite long enough to go there, is it? I wonder if I can tie it upwards. Yeah, I can tie it upwards and do that, and hopefully that won't spook Spike again. And I'm going to put it, so what I'm actually going to do is bend it over and put it inside and see if that helps. He's very worried about it, bless him. So, yeah, so that was my day. Yesterday, as I said, yeah, we lunched at Indy. As I said, Ken is coming back because he wanted to see her. Had a little sit on her. So I took her out in hand the other day on Sunday, which she thoroughly enjoyed. But, you know, just because I thought she was getting a bit bored just being in the field, so I took her out in hand. And she had a lovely walk out. She enjoyed that. Had a little sit on her yesterday to see what she was like. She wasn't at all worried or had a sore, or when I ran my hands down her back, she didn't seem at all bothered. She is a reactive pony. If something hurts, she tells you about it. She didn't react at all, she was fine. Her ears didn't go back, she didn't put a face, she didn't try and move away from my hand. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to see what she would be like. So I did sit on her, and I had like 15-20 minutes of walking and a little bit of a trot with her, and she moved beautifully. So all I can say is I've got Ken booked, he is coming back. She has had issues before, but I'm now thinking that a lot of it is, you know, obviously I will go with whatever Ken tells me. He's the expert, not me. But she did move beautifully, and she was so willing. She wanted to go step up into canter as well, which I went, oh no, I'm not fit enough for that yet. I was surprised at how breathless I was riding. Much more relaxed, much happier on her. But I have lost a lot of my fitness. And the only way you can get rider fit is keep riding, I think. I think you have to, you can do all your running and your Pilates and everything else, which I know you need to do to keep yourself square and straight. But you also need to be able to ride. And I was a bit breathless. So I think it is the fact that we've only got quite short hacks at the moment, although we keep adding bits to it so that we can go further and further. So we will do that and get fit. And I need to push myself a bit further. And bless her, Laura had a terrible headache yesterday evening, but still gave me the support and gave me a lesson with her. And that is off again. Don't! He's sound. Good boy! That's interesting. So yeah. So we had that. So that was good. I'm going to ride Eek. I've signed up. I don't know if it seems to be a fashion thing at the moment. But it's something new to have a go at, I think. Something new to try, something to keep your horse interested in. I'm going to have a go at barrel racing. And the horse I've chosen to do it on is Eek. So that should be highly amusing. When I spoke to the lady, Laura's daughter, Lucy, is going to do it. And I thought I'd quite like to have a little go. I think it's something different to do with your horses. It gives them something different to have a think about. So I did it, and they said on it, oh, we need to know your age. And I went, do you really need to know how old I am? And so the lady that's running it laughed and said, well, I'm X age and the other lady's X age, so you're not going to be the oldest. So I sat there and went, okay, that's fine. So it's a group of people, it's half a day, I think, training. I'm having a bit of fun, and it's £20. So I just sat there and went, what's not to like? Have a go, learn a new skill. Different styles of riding can help you with different with problems that you're having in your riding. So I just think it's worth, don't be closed to different ideas and different styles. Here comes a helicopter, I think. Yeah, that is so low. I can see the people in there. Yeah, all the horses are looking. Spike can't quite believe he can see the people sitting outside of it. It's a military helicopter, in case you were thinking. Not really sure what they're up to. He came over quite low last night, but not that low. But I could actually see the people sitting with their feet hanging out. So, interesting. So that's what I am going to be doing. I think it's next Saturday, not this Saturday. This Saturday, Lucy is taking part at Forest Edge Arena, their fun Halloween show, which is show jumping right up. It's everything: fancy dress, show jumping. It'll just be great fun to see everybody enjoying themselves. Laura and I went there on Sunday. And we watched the big show jumpers, as we called them. We saw lots of spills and falls. We saw some brilliant riding. There were some younger horses being jumped, but you know, these are mahoosive. Well, actually, I say mahoosive. by the end of the day, we were watching, I think it was 120, and I'm going, oh, it's not that big. Of course it's big. I'd look at it and go, I'm not jumping that. It's ridiculous. But it was a lovely show. As I said, we did see several people fall. Just errors, and it just goes to show that everybody makes mistakes. For me, watching that height and that standard, it brought it home to me that everybody makes mistakes, everybody falls off, everybody gets the striding wrong, and you just have to adapt to it. So I learned a lot going to do that, and I'd recommend it if you get the opportunity. And the good thing about Forest Edges, although it's a covered school, it's open completely to the at one end that looks into the forest. So it didn't matter, everybody was in there. So in these COVID days, it's probably, it's a very good venue to go to. I've also signed up to go to, where else am I going to? I think I'm going to do something else with Eek. I just think with Eek, although I keep saying she's lost it, she got bored, she got stale basically from competing, because all she was ever doing was 20 metre circles and trotting around, and that was the wrong thing for me to be doing with her. I should have been doing much, much more, but I didn't. A lot of that was down to, the intensity of the competition that I'd got myself involved in, and I won't be doing that ever again. But I am going to take her out. She did enjoy it the other day. She did get 2 seconds, as I said. Could have gone a bit better, but, I'm quite pleased with my comments on the riding marks I got rather than that. And I kind of look for those now much more. The way of going for your horse is that person's opinion. It's whether or not you're making a difference to that horse. I find that really interesting. So those are the plans. I will update you later on where we go. I'll keep you up to date with my saddle fitting dreams and ambitions, and if I get there or not. I will put a link on the YouTube page to Society of Master Saddlers, to their social media, and if you can like, comment and just share, I would be very grateful. Thank you for listening. I am the Happy Hacker, and I'll speak to you next time.